It is on. That's just. It really is pulling a trick on me today. Okay. Hi everybody, I'm Gian Ariano, Artistic Director of Project Spotlight.
And I'm Avery Higgins, Company Stage Manager of Project Spotlight.
And welcome to our One Act Festival of Fall 2022. So what that means, well first I'll tell you what Project Spotlight is actually. So we are UCF's Student Developmental Theater RSO, which means everything you see before you will be student acted, student directed, student written, student designed, you name it. We are committed to producing 15 new plays a year, not a semester, a year. So what is happening in our One Act Festival this semester is there are 2 new shows every day. So today's Act Naturally, as well as Guide Through Hell, and tomorrow it is 2 different shows, Manner of Death, as well as Shaking on the Rocks. So if you want to come back tomorrow, that'd be super great and see other 2 shows. But because we are student funded.
Yes, that means we are student funded, and that means we fully pay for what you are seeing. All props, costumes come out of our pockets. So if you're feeling generous, we have our concessions out front, or if you're feeling for a snack, a drink, or if you just want to donate $1, $5, $100. We'll never say no. So anything you're willing to offer to us, we would graciously accept it.
And if you want to see the names and faces of everyone who worked so hard to make sure this festival came together, please look at the QR codes posted on the doors and the walls, and you can go to the playbills for both, for all 4 shows and see everyone who is involved. Also, you can see something called a dramaturgy. Now, dramaturgy is something we're implementing into our program as we go along. It's kind of like being a theater historian and cheerleader, I like to say. And a note is basically a summation of like all the work they've done, analyzing the play and like what it means today. And I mention that because after our 2 shows today, we'll have a very quick break. And then we'll have a talk back, which is an opportunity for the show, the playwright, the directors, everyone involved, to ask y'all questions about the show, to gain insight, just about the process of what it was like for y'all, and then also an opportunity for y'all to ask questions to them, something you're interested in, something you may have been confused by, and it's just a valuable experience specifically for the playwright, but for everyone, to just help better the play moving forward.
Before we get started, we just wanted to thank our advisors, Belinda Boyd, John Schaefer, Gary Brown, and a bunch of other UCF theater faculty that has helped us during this process. And without further ado, please enjoy Act Naturally, written by Alejandro Rivero, directed by Duncan Ash, and assistant directed by Remy Elias.
It's finally getting cold out. It is. How are you feeling about the weather? Like, are you experiencing any negative changes to your mood? No. Perfect. I just wanted to gauge whether or not that's something we need to focus on in the future, being that the colder months do tend to make people sad. I'm actually the opposite. What do you mean? I feel my happiest when it's cold outside. Really? Yeah. Back in my hometown, I'd only ever be happy when it's cold out. And where are you from again? Miami. That sounds like our cue to start today's session. What are you doing? Oh, I thought I'd lay down this session. That's not a real thing. It's not? Nope. But I saw it in a movie. There's a movie where a car tire literally goes around trying to kill people. I don't know what to tell you. Movies lie.
Okay. Sorry.
You don't have to apologize.
Right, okay, sorry.
Stop apologizing.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Right. I got it.
Have you thought about why you're still over apologizing so much?
I don't know. It's involuntary.
When people over apologize, it usually stems from a fear of conflict, being overly concerned what people think of you, or low self-esteem.
You mean to tell me I'm insecure and care too much about what people think? I should see a therapist about it.
When I came in just now, I didn't say sorry for being late or sorry for making you wait. I said thanks for waiting. From now on, whenever you feel the need to say sorry, try replacing it with thanks. That way, you let the other person know you thought about the situation from their perspective and you take the negativity off of yourself. Any questions?
Why were you late today?
Someone threatened to jump on the subway tracks.
I know you probably can't say because of patient confidentiality, but if they were a patient of yours, I should probably switch therapists, right?
Ted!
Sorry. I mean, thanks about my joke.
No. You don't literally. You'll get thanked. Did that silence make you uncomfortable?
We've been through this before.
I know. I just need to hear you acknowledge your feelings.
I don't like silence. It just gives my brain an opening to start thinking about things.
What do you think about?
What don't I think about?
Why aren't they
Why are they
talking?
talking?
Do I talk
Do
first?
I talk first?
Will they talk
They
first?
talk first?
Am I being
Are they
annoying?
annoying?
Are they just pretending to like me? What if they
What
don't
if they
like
don't
me?
like me?
Do I smell bad?
bad?
Will they tell me I
Tell
smell
me I smell
bad?
bad?
They're too nice
They're
to
too
tell me I
nice to
smell bad, and I'm gonna go my
And
whole
I'm
life
gonna go
without
my whole
knowing I
life
smell
without knowing I
bad.
smell bad.
It's normal to feel negative emotions during an awkward silence. You know, it's actually
An evolutionary thing.
Glad you remembered.
It still doesn't help knowing it's an evolutionary thing. If humanity couldn't eradicate it in millions of years, how am I going to? Am I just predestined to be socially inept?
I think you're missing the point.
I guess there's some comfort in knowing it's a natural occurrence, because that doesn't mean, that means I'm not the only one who feels it. But that doesn't hide the fact that other people are making it work, and I'm not. We live in a predominantly extroverted society.
Elaborate on that.
The world was built for extroverts. Granted, the world was probably built by extroverts while introverts stayed inside for a good book, but my point still stands. If a stranger tries to talk to you and you can't make small talk, you're seen as weird or rude, and then it's always the dreaded, why are you so quiet? I don't get it. Why am I seen as weird for not wanting to fulfill an extrovert's needs? My needs aren't really considered. You want friends, you have to socialize. You want a job, you have to be sociable. Look at history. Democracies have fallen because of people with silver tongues. Meanwhile, I can't even tell a waiter I want ketchup for my fries. People who can talk have all the power. I don't know, I just feel like it's unfair. And please don't tell me that life isn't fair, because I've heard that enough times, but you just have to put yourself out there and just be happy. The simple truth is, society favors social people. If you're not talking, you're not living.
Do you fear death?
That's what you got from all that?
Yes?
What does that have to do with it?
Well, it has everything to do with it. All fear is the fear of death. You said it yourself. If you're not talking, you're not living, which leads me to believe you talk because you don't want to die, both socially and literally.
I don't want to talk about that right now.
Okay, we can table it for another day. When we were discussing our goals, you had mentioned getting into comedy. How's that going?
I've come to the unfortunate realization I'll never be as witty as the shrink who created the acronym for seasonal affective disorder.
Don't be too hard on yourself. We can't all have the comedic silence of Norman Rosenthal.
Is that also an evolutionary thing?
Yes.
I don't believe you, but you went to school for this, so I'll let you have that one. Anyways, I still get nervous talking to strangers, which cues the stuttering, which makes me even more nervous. And that's without even having to go on stage and play gesture for the role subjects. Besides that, I'm golden. I guess there's something funny with a comedian that has a fear of public speaking, right? I joined blind painters and dyslexic poets as victims of irony. You know, I tried that exercise you suggested and did my routine in front of the mirror.
Oh, how'd that go?
A snake walked into a bar. The bartender goes, "How'd you do that?" I swear to you, my reflection stood up and walked out on me. It was crazy. I didn't know whether to call a scientist or a priest.
You could have called your therapist.
Yeah. I only have enough money to pay one person at a time to not walk out on me.
How would you describe yourself socially?
Extremely mediocre or infuriatingly inadequate. No in between.
Would you like to elaborate?
Sure. I ordered my sandwich with minimal stuttering earlier today. That's extremely mediocre. The other day, a friend of mine introduced me to a friend of theirs, and I didn't know what to do. I just shut down. Do I go in for a hug? A kiss on the cheek? Do I offer them my firstborn? That's infuriatingly inadequate.
You're thinking too much.
I know. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do wish more people were self-aware, but the more I look into myself, the more I realize that self-awareness is a curse. I wish I could switch something off in my brain, the way the country does on election day. And just not have to think about what people may or may not be thinking about me. It's not just during silences either. When I'm talking to someone, a part of myself goes on autopilot. The other part of myself drifts off and starts thinking, is this too much eye contact? It's rude not to make eye contact. Maybe I'll look away.
Maybe I'll look away.
Oh no, I'm talking to the floor
I'm looking
now.
at the floor now.
I feel like there's a tiny version of myself behind my eyeball, banging on the glass. Just begging and screaming at me to act naturally, but I wouldn't know natural if it was passed on to me over millions of years.
You know, studies have shown that putting yourself in socially complicated situations enough times will eventually make you more at ease with them. Like, for example, dancing in the middle of the street, or asking someone out on a date.
I think dancing's weird.
Why?
They say those who dance are deemed insane, but those who can't hear the music. It makes sense. school singing in the rain because there's an invisible orchestra we can all hear. Take away the music, and he'd be One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I don't know. Maybe I just don't hear the music.
Gene Kelly looks cool in Singing in the Rain because he doesn't care what people around him think.
I'm sorry I'm not Gene Kelly.
Don't apologize.
Thanks for knowing I'm not Gene Kelly.
You're getting better at it. Okay, how about asking someone out with you?
I wouldn't want to date someone who's invasive.
I think I have something that might help. These are posters for you to wear around your neck. They say things like, my other body is human. I'm secretly two kids stacked on top of each other in a trench coat. I went to therapy and all I got was this lousy sign. You get the idea.
I don't know about that. I think that would draw too much attention. I don't even wear my Back to the Future hoodie in public anymore because someone would always stop me in the street to talk about it.
But that's the point. They're not supposed to make sense and stand out, so you get more used to people looking at you. Here, try this one on. Alright, now stand up and walk across the room. Really get a feel for it. Can you take your hands out of your sweater?
Physically, yes, but will I?
Just do it.
Fine.
They're in your pants now.
Yes, I put them there.
I know. Why?
I don't know what to do with my arms. I feel like one of those Bigfoot video freeze frames when I walk.
Just let them hang and walk across the room. Okay, now try again, but this time try not to look like a serial killer in quicksand.
I don't know what that means. What do you want me to change?
Just let your arms hang while you walk. Okay, stop. What's your favorite band?
I don't know. The Beatles.
Okay, list some songs.
Can't Buy Me Love. All My Loving. Here Comes the Sun. Yellow Submarine. Helter Skelter.
Okay. Now, I want you to walk again, but this time list as many songs as you can that don't have the letter E in the title.
All My Loving. Fool on the Hill. Cry Baby Cry. The Long and Winding Road. Rocky Raccoon. I Feel Fine.
See? You feel fine.
No, that's a song.
That has like 3 E's in it. Anyway, you can stop now. How did you walk?
I don't know.
Exactly. You weren't focusing on it, and from my perspective, you didn't look like a serial killer, and now I feel safe.
I'm glad, but if I do that in public, other people won't.
How do you feel?
Like I used a therapy and gym membership 2-for-1 coupon.
So which sign do you want?
I think I'll decide later.
Okay. If you insist, just ask for it when you want it.
If I want it.
When you want it, yes. Okay. I'm gonna put this out there. There's an open mic night tonight at the comedy club down the street. I think it's something you'd be interested in doing.
Yes, and while I'm at it, I'll audition for SNL.
I'm serious. When you first came into my office, you could barely speak in full sentences, and now you're comfortable being a smartass with me. You should be proud of the progress you've made.
I can't do it.
Okay, I want you to lie down.
You want me to what?
lie down on the couch and look up at the ceiling.
You said that wasn't a thing.
I lied.
This totally betrays a sacred trust between patient and therapist.
Do you want to lie down on the couch in the movies or not?
Fine.
And close your eyes. I want you to think of a happy place.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. Where are you?
My favorite place in the city. I'm sitting on this bench in the park. It has a view straight out of the Matt painting.
Okay. Now, I want you to imagine yourself in a room full of people.
That's what we call in the industry a scary thought.
I can assure you we're not in a room full of people. It's just me and you.
Are you sure?
Yes.
All right. I'm there.
What do you fear?
Climate change. Parents refer to their children's ages in months after they've already turned 3.
No. I mean, what do you fear about being in a room full of people? Ted? What happened?
I don't even know why I get scared. It would be valid if I had a reason to get scared, but it's just a feeling that creeps in out of nowhere. Completely irrational.
You know, someone once told me fear stands for false experiences appearing real. And for the most part, fear is just that, irrational. Just an evolutionary construct to keep us from fighting tigers and living long enough to procreate. You just have to remember to look around and stay grounded. Irrational or not, all fear feels the same. Don't beat yourself up about it.
I guess there's worse things to be than irrational. In this world, to be irrational is to be rational. There's something I've been meaning to talk to you about. When I was a kid, I'd get sleep paralysis, and I don't know the technical terms, but it was always the same sleep paralysis. It was this holographic wolf man who just stood there and stared.
I would love to dive deeper into this, Ted, but our time is up. I'll write it down, though, for next time. And I'll say it again. The open mic night is tonight if you think you want to go. Even just being in the building will be practice enough.
I'll overthink about it.
but I can't help you if you don't talk to me.
I'm sorry. I couldn't go through with it.
I'm gonna buy a spray bottle, fill it with water, and spray you every time you say sorry.
Is that even legal?
Yes.
I don't know about that. You lied about laying down during therapy not being a real thing. I've been burned, and it's going to take some time to heal and rebuild that trust.
There we go, old Ted's back. No, what happened?
All right, everyone. Next up, we have Ted Singer.
Let's not use it today. Hello, everyone. I thought that tonight I'd start us off with something that isn't really talked about on stage, you know? The pandemic. I know we all had our thoughts about it, so I figured that to get us started, we'd all just kind of say them all together on 3. Okay? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, 1, 2, 3. I loved it! Well, I mean, it sounds like we all hated it, but I thought it was great. One thing that was really good that came out of the pandemic was that a lot of people started going to therapy. Honestly, I kind of feel like mental illnesses are like college majors. It's like, oh, you go to therapy? Me too. I major in anxiety with a minor in clinical depression. Is anyone here majoring in something? Yeah. Someone shout it out. What are you majoring in?
Theater!
Education. Yarn trade, that sounds so much easier. Anyone else?
PTSD!
Yeah. Oh, I took a elective in that. That wasn't fun. Anyone else?
Psychology!
Also good choice. Yeah. Pandemic did some things. Thank you for your time. My whole life, I've been worried that people would laugh at me. And now I was worrying that they wouldn't.
You took a large step walking into that building, and an even larger one getting up on that stage.
I'm not Neil Armstrong. It was one small step for man, one large tumble for my self-esteem.
But you tried. That's what matters.
A man who thinks he's a bird doesn't get points for trying when he jumps off a cliff. I think my mistake was in thinking that I was a bird.
I mean, not all birds fly. Penguins don't fly, and they're pretty cool.
Yeah, they are pretty cool, aren't they? I'm not a penguin, though. They do everything in groups.
How serious are you about this comedy thing?
That's kind of a paradoxical question. If you take comedy seriously, is it comedy?
Let me rephrase. How badly do you want to succeed in comedy?
Failure can't be an option for me.
Why comedy?
I don't know. It's like that song. Just slip on a banana, feel the world at your feet, make them laugh. Maybe I want people to like me, so I make them laugh. Maybe I don't want people to feel the same way I do, so I make them laugh. Maybe I think that you were onto something with the whole all fear is a fear of death thing. I've always known I was going to die. No one's ever told me. I've just always known. I wasn't joking when I said I was cursed with self-awareness. There's a reason why robots in movies turn evil after they gain sentience. I remember being 5 years old, alone in my room at night. I would close my eyes, cover my ears, hold my breath, and think, this is what it's going to be like. And when my stomach drops and my heart starts beating fast, I go look for the quickest distraction and I just think it's all weird. Everyone always asks why we're here, not why we have to leave. Maybe if I accepted death more and stopped caring so much what people thought of me. I'd stop replaying the embarrassing moments of my life in my head before I fell asleep. I'd stop being so methodic and just start existing. We're all hurling towards the same fate. Does anything really matter anyways? Maybe that's why I chose comedy. It's my last connection to man. A stupid and futile gesture towards eternity. That's why failure isn't an option for me. If I don't make something of myself, how many generations before I ever existed to anyone? If I can do something special, maybe I can last until the sun swallows up the earth. I guess it doesn't matter. My fate remains all the same. All I know is that I have a voice. I have things I want to say. The world is a stage and I cannot climb up its steps. Can I have one of those posters now?
Of course, Pip.
I'm going to pretend you're not here.
You're already pretending I am here.
Fair enough. What are you doing here, old man?
I go by Henry.
Of course you do.
Why do you say that?
I created you, right?
Your subconscious did.
Right. Well, my subconscious is still me, and we're both smartasses. Harry's anything for Henry, and you're, well, you know what? Forget about it. Why are you here?
I'm here because you need me to be.
I'm really, really not up for this today. You're being painfully vague.
I'm whatever you make me, man.
You are a real pain in my ass. That's it, you are. You're always there in my worst moments. And you're always there in my good moments to remind me of my worst moments. You're like a rash in my brain that there's no ointment for.
That kind of hurt my feelings.
Good. It was supposed to. Shoes on the other paw now, isn't it?
I'm not bad, I'm just thought up that way.
Dude, are you trying to do this at puppy dog eyes?
Is it working?
No! Your face is gonna get stuck like that.
Whatever. You got the general idea.
You're actually not as scary as I thought you were.
There we go. Now we're finally getting somewhere.
What do you mean?
Things aren't as scary as they seem to be. All your hurdles are self-inflicted. Once you stop thinking about the what ifs, you can start seeing the what is.
I just don't know how I can stop thinking about the what ifs when there's so many things out of my control.
There are things in life you can and can't control. You can't control what people think of you. During this conversation alone, 4 people have walked by and seen you talking to the empty space next to you. Normally you'd be embarrassed, but these people are going to go home, maybe tell their families at dinner what they saw, and then will never be in their minds again. Usually they'll stay in yours, but it doesn't have to be that way. There's literally a man who dresses up as a rat and roams the city. Like, no one cares about anything. There are no rules. He's a rat, and you talk to a wolf man.
I think that somehow hurts even more. I don't want to be forgotten, but I don't want to be perceived. I'm Schrodinger's case of insecurity.
I mean, I understand that you don't want to be forgotten, and I understand that you don't want to be perceived negatively. But you can't control what other people think, and there's no point in worrying about something you can't control. You don't even know what or if people are thinking about you. Maybe they're thinking highly of you, or maybe they're thinking that you're as weird as a Tim Burton movie. Which is fair enough. Whatever thoughts you may think people have about you are just thoughts you're making up about yourself. Just like how I'm here. No one focuses more on you than yourself. The sooner you realize that, the sooner you can start living.
I'm gonna call my therapist.
Let the stormy clouds chase everyone from the place. Come on with the rain, I've a smile on my face. I'll walk down the lane. Happy refrain, just singing in the rain. I'm happy again.
We're going to take a 15-minute intermission right now. Thank you. For the next act.